it wouldn't be a proper conversation without weightlifting, without touching on variations of left field variations. So we mentioned this question beforehand. So there were some questions that came in from people about the use of dumbbell snatch, hex bar jump, jump squat, variations, close grip snatch, things which are kind of non-traditional. They're not just a derivative. General thoughts on those. Are they all less effective? Are there some which are really good? Are they just different and maybe a little bit less optimal? Tim, if you go.
I get that question a lot. I think it was during a presentation I was asked, how does a jump shrug compare to a hex bar jump and a jump squat? So we did a study on it, and ultimately what we end up finding with that is if you're looking solely at power output, you can see similar benefits between something like a jump shrug and a hex bar jump pretty much across the loading spectrum until you get to heavier loads. Both of those exercises, it's pretty cut and dry that both the jump shrug and the hex bar are going to produce more power than a jump squat. Now that has to do with the placement of the bar. It has to do with the inclusion of a hip hinge movement and a lot of other things. But all those exercises, again, exist on a spectrum. It's really where you're going to implement them and what type of loading. We know from some of Prue Cormie's work that anywhere between 0 and 30% of body mass is going to optimize power output for a jump squat. Looking at percentages of body mass, jump shrug is going to be about 20 to 40%. Hex bar jump is going to be 40 to 60%. So it's again, how do you classify these exercises? Normally we'd say, okay, all of these are speed strength exercises, but if you take something like a hex bar jump and the placement of the load being centralized around the center of mass, you're able to use more load with that. So you could almost classify that as more of a strength speed exercise rather than a speed strength exercise, i.e. using heavier loads for power versus lighter loads.